Welcome to my vlog. Ako si Gino Tenorio. Again, samahan ninyo akong aralin, himayin at tuklasin ang isang matagal na video, controversial video din, kung totoo ba to or isa ba tong hoax or isa ba itong katang-isip lamang. Pero itong video na to will tell yung power of our mind, of our soul, of our spirit. Ito yung madalas kong sinasabi sa inyo na kapangyarihan ng spiritual na kapangyarihan. Ayon nga sa Ghost Fighter, meron kang spiritual na kapangyarihan. At yung spiritual na kapangyarihan na yon ay pwede mong magamit, pwede mo i-convert into energy. Pwede mong gamitin para magpagaling, magpasiklab, literal na siklab, as in paliliyabin mo yung mga bagay-bagay gamit ang power of your mind, power of your soul, power of your spirit. Okay? And usually makikita mo to sa mga masculine tradition sa Chinese sa mga Chinese Buddhist tradition o yung mga monk tradition, which is yung ginagamit nila yung power of their mind and energy and discipline. Itong mga masculine monk, ginagamit nila ito to heal, to create fire, to create miracles, and so on. So, this is a spiritual power. Okay, sige, tignan natin. Himayin natin, analyze natin.
I first met him in the early 80s in a Chinatown of urban Java. He didn't want his real name or address revealed, so we called him DJ for Dynamo Jack. He was only a healer, he said, but he did direct a powerful energy generated from his own body into his patients. Sometimes he used the needles, sometimes just his hands. He called the energy Qi, and it was so strong that he usually needed a grounder to hold his patients' feet. For years, we followed him around Java on his healing rounds, pleading to be allowed to film him, but he always refused, saying his powers resulted from a type of meditation with an ancient tradition of secrecy. It was only when my brother Lorne was suffering from a serious eye infection that he finally allowed us to film him in 1987.
It was nothing like any acupuncture I'd ever had. I was getting really powerful electric shocks and couldn't control my movements at all.
Yang positive and negative, and my positive from here and my negative from here, and we meet together, this can get like electricity.
Okay. So, kung mapapansin mo dito, para siyang wala nang pinag-iba sa Dragon Ball at saka sa Ghost Fighter. Which is yung mga anime na yon, brother, marami nagsasabi, katang-isip lang, or marami nagsasabi na, pambata lang yan. First of all, dun sa mga nagsabi na pambata yung anime, Dragon Ball, saka Ghost Fighter. Sabihin natin cartoon siya, sabihin natin anime siya, pero bro, tignan mo yung tema ng storya niya. Wasakan ng planeta, bugbugan, basagan ng muka, mga kung fu masters, di ba? Puro mga martial artists, Kamehameha Wave, patayan, alam mo yung wasakan ng planeta, alam mo yung wasakan ng bundok. Hindi siya masasabi na pambata kasi medyo action-oriented siya di ba? Action siya parang wala siyang pinag-iba sa mga suntukan nila FPJ, pero mas brutal nga lang itong mga Dragon Ball sa Ghost Fighter. Pero marami na siyang similarities. And if you're going to look at it, if you're going to trace yung mga anime like Dragon Ball and Ghost Fighter, bro, yung mga istorya niya, hindi yan basta katang-isip lang, or hindi yan basta inimbento lang or ginawa lang ng mga author. May pinaghuhugutan yan. Meron niyang pinanggagalingan. Meron niyang true to life basis. Like Dragon Ball itself, inuhugot nila yan sa mga mythology Inuhugot nila yan sa history nila. Inuhugot nila yan sa religion or sa religion nila or sa spiritual stories nila. Inuhugot nila dun yon. So, ibig sabihin, true to life or may pinaggagalingan yon. Hindi yung basta-basta katang-isip or pantasya lang. Unlike yung mga Disney film, pantasya lang talaga Pero itong mga to, may pinaghuhugutan ito. Yung mga Buddhist monk, di ba? Yung mga nagme-meditate. And yung sinabi nila, yung kapangyarihan, yung dito sa video nito, kapangyarihan na galing, o yung kapangyarihan na to galing sa isang type of meditation. Totoo rin yun, kasi I've been a meditator since 2012, and malaki talaga epekto niya sa psyche ko. Malaki ang epekto niya sa energy ko. Kumbaga, mas naging buhay ako, mas naging bata ako. Mas bumata ka, actually. Meron ngang episode sa Ghost Fighter, 'di ba? Si Genkai or Master Jeremiah na nung nilabas niya yung kanyang 100% na kapangyarihan, bumata siya. Naging ano siya, 'di ba? So, may katotohanan 'yon kasi yung chi energy o yung prana na tinatawag, brother, sa spirituality, nakakabata 'yon. Okay? Nakakabata 'yon. Babata ka doon. Ganun yung nangyayari dito sa Qigong practitioner. By the way, Qigong yung tawag doon sa healing or doon sa energy practice na ginagawa niya. Marami yan eh. Meron pang meron pang Reiki, meron pang other form of energy healing. Marami yan eh. Pero itong ginamit niya is Qigong. Chinese art of energy healing. Alright? Gagamit ka ng spiritual energy dito or spiritual na lakas, spiritual na kapangyarihan galing sa nature, galing sa universe, galing sa akasya para pagalingin or palakasin ng isang tao at maglabas ng, alam mo yun, vibrant energy. Alright? So, sige, tingnan natin. Tuloy natin.
And is this because you're special? You have a special sort of
It's
body?
meditation every day.
It's meditation that does it.
Meditation every day. Like you can touch me, like this. It's nothing, okay? It's my burn. It's just like this.
For our sound recordist, it was also a shocker. When he heard we'd shown this footage in public,
Okay. You see kung paano niya pinroject yung energy from his dun sa palad niya, pero it actually is generating from sa spinal column yun eh. You have the chakra system, then yung spinal mo, yan yung daluyan talaga ng malakas na enerhiya. Tapos if you know how to channel that energy and project it sa kamay mo, you can create this kind of manifestation. Pwede mo i-project yan. Pwede kang gumawa ng apoy, pwede kang gumamit ng energy para ma-transfer siya. And kanina, 'di ba, tinransfer niya energy doon sa mga nakuryente sila. Naramdaman nila yung electricity gamit doon sa katawan. And this has been done since ancient times eh. Ginagamit talaga ito sa China eh. Ginagamit talaga ito ng mga traditional healers. Hindi yung mga western medical healer, pera na lang talaga yan eh. Talaga, it's just a scam. Pero yung mga traditional energy healers, talagang ginagamit nila yan, channeling energy, spiritual healing ang tawag diyan. Alright? Para siyang Dragon Ball na, no? Para na Kamehame Wave at saka ray gun. Titignan mo, these are the stuff, posible to mangyari. Akala natin, ito ay mga bagay na katang-isip lamang. Pero ito ay ginagamit sa spiritual community, normal na ito sa amin. Pero sa mga masses, sa mga normal na tao, ito yung mga bagay na hindi pa naiintindihan ng marami at wala pa sa hinagap nila na posible pala ito mga ganitong bagay. Kasi if you have to understand na we as human being are spiritual being and we as a spirit have the ability to project energy and to generate energy. Kaya pumapasok dyan yung mga spiritual practices. Pumapasok na dyan yung mga lihim na karunungan. Malalaman mo yan once you dig deep and if you are the right person. Okay? This is a secret knowledge kasi ito eh. Mga forbidden knowledge ito. Hindi ito inilalabas sa mga ordinaryong tao lang. Piling-piling tao lang yung makakaintindi at makaka-access sa ganitong klaseng kaalaman.
he was very upset. and refused all our future efforts to contact him again. As the years passed, we sadly resigned ourselves to never seeing him again. My brother Lorne never did, for by 1997 he was already dead, when I again found myself with DJ, now treating me for an eye problem. But it wasn't this that brought me back. He had tracked me down out of the blue and invited me to tell me a story. He'd just returned from 2 years on a deep meditational journey, alone in the heart of Borneo.
Okay, yan yung ang tawag namin dito sa lihim na karunungan, yung magre-retreat ka, pupunta ka sa bundok, magcha-charge ka ng malakas na enerhiya galing sa spiritual nature or sa nature, sa spirit ng nature, spirit ng Mother Gaia. Tawag namin yan devotion. Okay? Parang sa lihim na karunungan, meron yan 48 and 49 days. Kung babae ka, kung lalaki ka, magkaiba. Okay? So, ang gagawin mo dito is magdidebosyon ka lang ng energy sa spiritual side mo. Okay? Kung sino yung Diyos na sinasamba mo, devotion yan. Focus ka lang, meditation, mantra, magagamit ka ng Latin para buhayin yung mga salita. At gagamitin mo yon sa panggagamot, gagamitin mo yon sa spiritual warfare, gagamitin mo rin yon sa manifestations. So, ganito yung ginagawa namin as a spiritual practitioner. And ganun din yung ginagawa niya. Pero yung kanya, focus on healing. Kasi healer talaga siya eh. May mga tao talaga na astrologically gifted, pinanganak talaga para manggamot. Okay? Yan, sila Nick Banayo. Mga pinanganak talaga yan para manggamot, para alam mo yun, para pagalingin yung mga tao or para i-repent yung mga masasamang spirito.
Amongst his revelations, he had seen, he said, how history was moving on into great change, and the old wisdom was vanishing. So he'd called me back to film just enough of him to remind us that we all have undreamed of powers sleeping within us, and that there's nothing special about him except for his training in waking them.
Well, tama siya doon. Ang sabi niya, we all have this divine power or tinatawag namin sa Gnosticism na divine spark. The divine spark. Itong divine spark na to, when you tap into this energy galing sa core mo, ma-awaken mo yung special gift mo na binigay sa'yo ng Diyos, na pinagkaloob sa'yo ng Diyos, na meron ka simula nung bata ka. Unique yun sa'yo. Okay? And once you tap into that, if you go into that rabbit hole, and when you tap into that, sa tamang panahon, lalabas at lalabas yung kapangyarihan na yon. Lalabas yung unique ability mo. Para ka ng mutant, which is literally, meron naman talaga lahat tayo, unique abilities. And only few people lang yung nakaka-discover at na-enhance or na-awakened yung natatago na kapangyarihan na yon.
Grounding this patient, my cameraman Joe is having to use all his weight to keep contact. But she is pushing him away. He seems able to control the amplitude of this chi, like a dimmer switch, and it causes uncontrollable responses in the patients and their grounders.
I can barely keep my hand on you. Fly off, the electricity so strong.
This mother unwittingly grounds her child. He won't sit still, so she's asked to hold him and grin and bear it. Sometimes signs of this passing energy can be seen in the transmitter too. This chi stuff is only the surface, he says, of the real adventure beneath, in the meditational technique. Projecting chi from the palm of the hand can also be used to resist rifle pellets, he says. First, you learn to distinguish between yin and yang chi in your body. then how to pool it in your navel chakra, then how to project it, he says. And it's the proportionate mixture between yin and yang which accounts for different effects, like pulling or pushing objects or igniting them. Then he gets really strange. He says that mastering yin qi is the key to the spirit world. There's a long tradition of Indonesian krisis being possessed by spirits.
Napakaganda ng sinabi niya doon. Ang sabi niya, mastering the yin chi is the key to mastering the spiritual world or the spirit world. Kasi ang yin chi is the feminine energy. Kaya kung papansinin mo, ang mga babae, they are very spiritual. They have access sa spiritual side. Kaya sila din yung madaling maposes ng mga demonyo, madaling mabulungan at maimpluwensyahan. Kasi sila yung may access sa spiritual world or the yin chi or the yin prana, the yin energy or the feminine energy. Alright? So, you have to understand na yin energy is spirituality and yang energy is material world or the physical world. Itong mundo natin is yang energy dominated ito. Pag lalaki ka, you have to be dominated by yang energy. Kung babae ka, you have to be dominated with feminine energy or yin energy or yin chi.
So people bring him their krisis to see if they're duds. Here he says he doesn't manipulate matter by projecting mixtures of yin and yang qi. He merely creates a field of yin energy in which, he says, if there's a spirit, it can manifest itself. So I invited a small group of scientists back from the United States with measuring equipment to test if DJ was for real. And if so, where might this energy belong on the electromagnetic spectrum?
So, duda sila eh. Hindi sila makapaniwala na nag-i-exist itong ganitong klaseng ancient wisdom and knowledge from the Chinese heritage. So, ang ginawa nila, kumuha sila ng mga Western scientists para i-measure kung totoo nga ba or to debunk kung totoo or hindi totoo itong ginagawa na mirakulo or miracle ni DJ. Or DJ yung name niya, di ba?
Catherine Cook, CEO of the Mind Science Foundation in Texas. Dr. Roger Nilsson, a Swedish medic and international racing sailor. Dr. Greg Simpson, a physicist from New York's Albert Einstein University, and Andreas Polak, one of DJ's Australian students. The visitors are confident they'll uncover him as a fraud in no time. Greg is the first guinea pig, and he's uncomfortable about showing that he can feel anything at all. Dr. Roger doesn't know what to expect. Out comes the metal detector, like the things they use in airports, to see if he has any concealed metal in his body. Then the voltmeter, to try and measure the qi. But how to get it to work? Where's the ground? What settings? DJ suggests that as his negative is his perineum, and his positive is his navel chakra, perhaps that's where the electrode should be attached. He doesn't stand on his dignity. He's eager to help, but still no readings. They're getting shocks off his arm, and now they're on the right settings, but the needle still isn't moving. DJ says it isn't electricity, it's qi.
It's 1, 2, up, I feel it in my whole body. I feel it at 3, 0.3, I feel it in my legs. Shit.
But suspecting there's some tricky setup on his premises they can't find, they insist we all go to a randomly chosen hotel room several miles away to see if he can light a light bulb with his fingers. It doesn't ground on the wall. So Greg holds and grounds one wire, while DJ pumps qi through the other. The bulbs are LEDs, light-emitting diodes, which ignite in different colors according to the intensity of current.
Yes. On, off,
Brilliant.
Oh, you're blinking.
Things were going well. DJ was enjoying it too, until he invited us all out to lunch at his local, where he tried to push a chopstick through the table. He couldn't get it through the Formica surface, so he came up through an inch of wood from underneath. Not only did he draw his own blood, but a chopstick splinter had caught Alison here between the eyes, drawing more. The incident was laughed off apologetically, but next morning he was a different man, drawn and upset. He said he'd been visited all night by his long-dead master, raging that he had broken the strict taboos of his sect, never to show off in public and never to cause harm or draw blood. He felt deeply chastised. All further testing and filming must end.
Okay, yung nangyari, ano siya parang nag-show off siya. Pinakita niya yung kapangyarihan niya. Kasi sa totoo lang, kaya nga tinawag na lihim na karunungan. Kasi hindi mo dapat yun isinasa publiko. Dapat tinatago mo yung kaalaman mo na yon, yung mga diskarte mo na yon. Ang nangyari, dinalaw siya nung kanyang master, kanyang spiritual master, at pinagalitan siya, or parang kasi meron siyang nilabag na patakaran, or meron siyang nilabag na rule or batas ng kanyang sekta. Pinagbawal na mag-draw ng dugo or ng blood ang kanyang practice. Ang nangyari, aksidente niyang nasugatan yung isa sa mga respondent dun o isa sa mga media or isa sa mga kasama nila during that demonstration. And kapag nagkaroon ng paglabas ng dugo, kasi ganito yan, Brad, sa esoteric kasi, sa metaphysical, ang dugo ay sagrado. Spirituality, sagrado ang dugo, okay? Kaya papansinin mo pati sa religion, 'di ba? Pati sa simbahan, dugo at katawan ni Kristo. Ginamit ni Kristo kanyang dugo para tubusin ang kasalanan or sala ng mga tao. Okay? So ganun kasagrado ang dugo. All right? Kaya if you're going to notice, yung pati mga kulto, ginagamit nila dugo, sakripisyo. 'Di ba nga pag mag-aalay ka sa mga, alam mo 'yon, sa mga nuno, sa punso, sa mga spirito, mga mamatanda, mag-aalay ka ng dugo ng hayop or manok, baboy. Kasi sacred ang dugo, merong kapangyarihan ng dugo, may buhay ang dugo. Okay? Sagrado ang dugo. Kaya ingat sa dugo kasi meron talaga sacred talaga yan, sagrado talaga yan. Kaya kapag binaliwala mo yan or hindi mo nirespeto yan, maaari kang maparusahan, makarma, or maaari kang mamatanda o bahala. Ganun yung pwede mangyari sa'yo.
Never again would he submit to public scrutiny, nor accept any new students. He would sink from sight and continue his healing in obscurity, as he had done since before we met him in the early 80s, and had always told us was right.
Okay, so napakagandang video, demonstration. Ikaw, naniniwala ka ba dun sa mga nakita mo? Alright? So this is a real life Dragon Ball, real life Son Goku, real life Yosuke, Eugene, na kaya mag-project ng enerhiya ang katawan niya. Para ka lang nagkakami-hami wave, di ba? Kaya mo mag-heal. This guy is a healer. He's a meditator. He is a spiritual practitioner, obviously. Dito sa Pilipinas, maraming gumagawa niyan. Maraming gumagawa sila. Nick Banayo, di ba? Ang ginagawa nila, nagre-retreat sila Mount Banahaw. Kasi ang Mount Banahaw ay sagradong bundok. Malakas ang vortex or spiritual energy ng Mount Banahaw. Kaya kung gusto mo mag-charge ng spiritual energy, doon ka. Pumunta ka doon. Mag-meditate ka doon. Mag-retreat ka doon. At magdasal ka doon sa Mount Banahaw. At spiritually, marirefresh ka. Babata ka doon. Lalakas ang spiritual na kapangyarihan at lakas mo doon. Maaring matuto ka pa manggamot or ano. Pero depende kasi ano yan Ang kapangyarihan kasi pinipili yan Napili, ikaw ang napili, kumbaga. Mayroon niyang hindi para sa lahat, kumbaga. Parang red pill yan Hindi para sa lahat yan, kapangyarihan na yan. Sagrado yan at merong misteryo yan, may kapangyarihan yan. Kaya you have to gaya ng lahat ng kapangyarihan, kailangan mo siyang bigyan ng responsibility, 'di ba? Great power comes great responsibility. So kailangan mo siyang alagaan, sikreto, debosyonan, respeto, debosyonan, dasalan. And that's it. Ganun 'yun Ganun yung kapangyarihan And nagdedebosyon din ako para mamapanatili ko yung lakas ko, yung spiritual na lakas ko. Alright? Okay, so kung meron kayong katanungan, gustong malaman, or meron kayong topic na gustong pag-usapan natin sa future vlogs, comment mo below, ano opinion mo. And with that, huwag nyo kakalimutan mag-like, comment, and subscribe kung nagustuhan mo yung video. Hit mo na yung like or hit mo na rin yung subscribe button. Pati na rin yung ring button para updated ka sa lahat ng mga uploads natin. Alright? With that, maraming salamat sa oras ninyo. Peace.